So how many of you are absolutely terrified of the SAT?
Trust me, we know you are. On top of everything else you do, it's hard to find time to accurately prepare.
Perhaps one of the most feared sections of the test is the essay portion. How do you figure out what to write about, write it, and then proofread it all in 25 minutes?
Don't panic. We're here to help you. My name is Megan Harris.
And my name is Emily Wilson.
And we come with a survival guide for the SAT essay.
Have no fear.
The Edison Writing Center is here.
From AC2 to you.
So what exactly is an SAT essay?
The SAT essay is basically a way for you to show off. And the SAT is an opportunity for you to display all of this knowledge that you've garnered over the years, and the essay portion is no exception. It's a way for you to demonstrate your ability to develop and express your ideas in an eloquent manner.
You actually already know how to do this. You've been doing this for years in various classes. It's pretty similar to writing the SOL you might have taken in 5th or 8th grade.
So let's talk about some numbers.
The essay comprises of 10% of your final score, but it scores 40% of your score for the writing section. And here's the catch. You only have 25 minutes to write it.
Don't panic. If you manage your time effectively, you'll have nothing to worry about.
So how is it scored?
Your essay is evaluated by 2 independent readers on a score of 1 to 6 points. They then combine the 2 scores into one that ranges from 2 to 12 points. And then should the 2 readers' scores differ by more than 1 point, a third reader will rescore the essay.
This means that the original scorers have a pretty good idea of what they're looking for.
Which brings us to the big question. What are they looking for?
The scorers want to see a developed point of view, critical thinking, and strong evidence.
You also need to consider how to organize effectively and use engaging vocabulary.
You'll only have 25 minutes to write the essay, so let's break it down.
Step 1. You need to take a minute to read the prompt, digest it, and think about how you want to answer the question. Think about what stance you'd like to take, and start to formulate your thesis.
Step 2. Give yourself 2 or 3 minutes to brainstorm some examples that will support your thesis.
Step 3. Take 3 or 4 minutes to put together a quick outline. Think about how you want to organize your paper. You know how when you write an essay in class, you can't just write a big paragraph because it's really hard to follow and you're more likely to go off topic. You need to consider how to effectively organize your ideas into paragraphs. Make your English teachers proud.
Step 4. Take about 15 minutes to sit down and actually write the essay following your outline.
Finally, take 1 to 2 minutes to proofread your essay to make sure that all of your grammar is together and that the essay as a whole flows nicely.
So I don't know about you guys, but we hear this term tossed around all the time, but does anyone actually know what critical thinking means? Critical thinking is defined as the process of examining, questioning, and reflecting on ideas. You'll want to engage this issue complexity, but not dumb it down, or make it simpler than it actually is. Make sure you selected insightful evidence, and maybe you could apply new context, terms, or phrases to reference to the issue. Basically, this means that you should think outside the box, while still answering the prompt, of course. Take a minute to digest the prompt, and then try to come up with a way to answer it in a manner that is thoughtful, but also doable in 25 minutes.
Whenever you write something, there is always a purpose to it. You could be informing, entertaining, or in the case of the SAT essay, you're trying to persuade your audience. Yes, the SAT essay is indeed a persuasive essay, and you most certainly need a thesis. Typically, your thesis will appear in your introduction and use it as a guide or a roadmap for your readers. Your thesis will specifically dictate the point that you're trying to prove. But what exactly are you trying to prove? When deciding how to tackle the essay, you need to examine the issue that is placed in front of you. Will you take a clear stance on it, answering yes or no to the prompt? Will you offer multiple points of view? The decision is totally up to you, as long as you have examples to back it up. Additionally, you need to keep in mind that a lot of essay prompts will have a quote accompanying them that takes a side on the issue. You do not have to take this side. Go in the direction that you think works best for you.
Like Emily said, after you've decided what your thesis is going to be, you need to find examples to back it up. These examples can be anything from history, literature, current events, pop culture, personal anecdotes. As long as it backs up your thesis, you can use it. Keep in mind that you don't necessarily need to cite a Greek philosopher on a high-scoring essay. Used a Natalie Portman movie as an example. Even so, you need to apply critical thinking when choosing examples so that you can include those that both back up your point and approach the prompt in an engaging, insightful manner. Don't go for cliches like Martin Luther King for a good leader or Hitler is someone who's evil. You should also avoid really general and hypothetical examples or assumptions.
So after you've come up with some examples, you need to figure out how you want to organize your essay. This is important. The SAT essay is not necessarily a typical 5-paragraph essay. If you want to try that, go for it, but frankly, you might not have time. One strategy you can use is writing each paragraph about a specific example to make sure that they are fully developed. You could also move chronologically. This is especially useful when you're writing a personal one, or using historical evidence, or you can move thematically, like if you have a few literary, scientific, and pop culture examples, you could organize each of these into categories and put together your paper that way. As a quick tip, you might want to consider putting your strongest example first in case you run out of time. Once you've figured out how you're going to organize it, you can start writing. One quick note. As you write, make sure that you use sophisticated vocabulary. You don't necessarily need to use particularly grandiose words, but you should definitely avoid using general terms like people or in my opinion. Don't really use first person unless you're describing a personal event, and use your vocabulary to your advantage. You didn't learn all of these SAT words for nothing.
Here we have an available example of a prompt. This is where we ask you to pause the video, take about 5 minutes to brainstorm, and make an outline as if this was a real SAT. Try our tips and see how they work for you, and restart the video when you're done.
Let's do a quick recap.
When writing your essay, you should consider your point of view or stance and use examples that back up your thesis.
You should also focus on effective organization and vocabulary.
Think outside the box.
Use your time wisely.
And above all,
don't panic! Thank you so much for watching our screencast.
If you thought it was helpful, make sure to share it with your friends and spread the love.
Feel free to stop by the Edison Writing Center if you have any additional questions or concerns.
We'd love to have you here. Thanks!